I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The meeting's starting. Turn it down. Over here. Oh, good. Relax.
Yeah, I got it. I would like to advise those present that notice of this regular meeting of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken has been provided to the public in accordance with provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act. Notice of this regular monthly January board meeting was given by publication of the annual meeting notice of the authority with amendments as necessary, was sent to the Jersey Journal and Star Ledger on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023, and sent to the City Clerk of Hoboken on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023, with a copy of the agenda to be posted on bulletin board in City Hall, Hoboken Library, and Hoboken Police Department, and posted on the authority website on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. I direct the minutes of this meeting to state that I have announced the adequate notice of this meeting has been given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. Director, roll call.
A. Forbes. Present. A. Impastato.
Present.
A. Lewitt.
Present.
B. Reyes.
Here.
M. Russo.
Present.
J. Sanford.
Present.
E. Seitzman.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Barbara, you have the time? You want to do it? You'll do it.
Patricia Waiters.
Is the public portion?
Yes, it is.
Oh, shit. I mean, I'm sorry. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry, guys. Pat Waiters, 1219 Willow. I just...
Sorry.
I'm sorry, because I was highlighting a few things. Good evening, everybody. I just received the packet. I want to thank the Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Rodriguez Gomez, for I placed it on the record at Tuesday's meeting about Martin Luther King's birthday and Black History Month slowly approaching, and Housing Authority being one area where we have most of the Black and brown and Latino people. I mean, I wanted to do something to create an event. I'm willing to work with you guys to really let the residents know we care. Okay, what we've been doing the last 10 or 20 centuries, I'm not saying is wrong or right. I'm saying we gotta start a dialogue. In this package she sent me, it's 46 pages. I'm gonna definitely give this to you, Madam Chair, please, so you can share with your board. It's in entirety. It got a few pictures of Martin Luther King, his dream, the I Had a Dream speech, the same rhetoric they do every year. This hurts me. Can I tell you why? Because this is not implemented by an African-American person. This is somebody else's vision of Martin Luther King. So when I say diversity, inclusion, that's what I was hoping that we could get out of this. I feel really, really, really disrespected that tomorrow, I got an email from City Hall that they will be raising the flag tomorrow, a day before Martin Luther King's birthday. That's unaccepted. Martin Luther King's dream was bigger than give back. On here, it got the shelter listed, it got the pantry, and other people saying that they could donate and show that they could give back. That's soliciting. That shouldn't have even been on here, number one. Number two, donations, giving people back. You can't buy back the pain that the Black and brown people endured. Learn our pain and live with us. Because we got so many serious, unhealthy, people living there that's like inhumane in the Housing Authority, and this is an embarrassment. And then on top of it, you don't want to recognize those individuals. So I'm here tonight to say this. Please, Madam Chair, and I know you do your due diligence, you born and raised in there. Please hold your entire body accountable for Martin Luther King's birthday. It's 28 days in February for Black History Month. No, we're not waiting until the 25th to do something and the 27th. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm available again, Pat Waiters, the same way the Board of Education did it, because I told you I don't disappear easy, but I'm going to be there when I see something that I think is unjust. So please reach out to me. This is very serious. You guys are all welcome. I hope I see y'all tomorrow at City Hall. Unfortunately, an election ain't slowly approaching, or everybody, every politician, everybody would have been out there. Please stop using us like that and using our pain for profit. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Adrian Bowman.
I have no problems with the housing authority trying to make improvements, fixing the hallways floor. But what I don't appreciate is those people that are doing it, they unnecessarily banged on my door, scared the crap out of my 14-year-old. My elder daughter asked who would be at the door at that time. And I said, from my living room to the door, who is banging on my door and why? I opened the door to find them doing whatever they were doing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I said, don't let it happen again. And I hope that they don't do it to any other resident, because I wish and hope a resident will go out there and knock them on their behind. It was unnecessary for them to be banging on the door. If they're going to do a job, do it right without disturbing the residents.
Manuel Rivera Soler.
Manuel Rivera Soler, the transcriber knows how to spell my name with her eyes closed. Stop making me laugh, Commissioner. So, first I want to say Feliz Año Nuevo, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
To all, and to the members of the public and the housing members. Before I make some comments, I would like to add, if I could, some clarity on resolution number 10, 230104, 230106, whenever you have a chance. Also, I would like to say that I took a moment to, as I always do in many of the meetings that I attend, I always go back and check anything that I had said, or any comments that I received while I was standing waiting, and I do go to many meetings, not all of them, but many, and people seem to get fatigued over it, but that is an issue that they have, not me, because I have to speak if I feel like I want to speak in every meeting. Having said that, the last meeting I was here, I made some remarks or some comments over some issues that were said. I believe some people took umbrage towards it, and I went back to see if I had said it with any malicious intent, and I did not. I said specifically before I said the comments, I said it's not directed towards anyone personally, nor is it meant to bring any member of the housing authority or any maintenance person or anyone down. So with all due respects, I would like to receive respect when I give respect to any board, as I do to many others. And having said that, I would like to thank you for your attention this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it, you don't have anything else? Motion to close public portion?
Motion.
Motion.
Director, call, roll call. Motion to close public portion?
You're on mute.
Can't hear you.
So roll call, A. Forbes,
Yes.
A. Impastato,
Yes.
A. Lewitt,
Yes.
B. Reyes,
Yes.
M. Russo,
Aye.
A. Sanford,
Yes.
E. Seitzman.
Yes.
Director, your report?
Thank you. And I'm having just a little problem hearing at times, so if you can lean into the microphone for my part, I appreciate it. And first of all, I appreciate you all bearing with me. I am out of town on a family matter, so I appreciate your hanging in with me with my being absent. I will be back into town for sure on Sunday, and so we'll see you all next week. First of all, Happy New Year to all. I think we had a great holiday season. We did many events, and I'm really looking forward to 2023. As we go through my report, I just think 2023 is going to be a real banner year for us. As you'll see, we're going to be making significant progress on our redevelopment. I think we have the best team of employees that we've had since I've walked in the door at Hoboken, and really looking forward to a great year. I think we're making some great strides. We did have a lot of events during the holiday season. The Winter Wonderland on December 10th went incredibly well. We just have to thank the Rad Board, Familyhood. Erica was such a driving force. Erica Seisman was such a driving force. The police department. We really had a great event, and the weather really cooperated. So it was, and the county with their stage. It was really great. We had holiday luncheon events at Adams, Fox Hill, and Monroe. The events were very well attended and very well received. In addition, family dinners were held at Andrew Jackson Harrison and Christopher Columbus in partnership with the Rad Board. There was great food, music, dancing, strong sense of holiday cheer and togetherness. Those are great events, and they seem to be getting better every year. Hoboken Grace was once again very successful, providing gifts to so many of our youth. And HHA arranged for donations once again through Toys for Tots. An event was held in coordination with the Rad Board at Monroe Gardens. Families came in with their children, picked up a wide variety of gifts. I've got to give a shout out to Oscar Mercado over at the maintenance department for arranging, making sure it was picked up, making sure it went well. Thank you, Oscar. I've got some great news to share tonight. We have been awarded a special allocation of capital funds from HUD in the amount of $3.5 million for use at Harrison Gardens. This is really great. Another great win in grant applications. In receiving them, this was one of the first grant applications, by the way, that Corinne wrote when she walked in the door with us, and very successful. $3.5 million is nothing to sneeze at. We applied for the funding last spring. We did have to apply this funding to only one site. It could not be spread across different sites, and we put in for Harrison. They will be used for REACT-related repairs, security enhancements, upgrades overall at Harrison Gardens. For example, we will be able to install camera coverage on each floor. We can finish our renovation of the courtyard. We can do painting, hallway, stairwell repairs. I'm really looking forward to this. As we complete that necessary paperwork with HUD, we'll be outlining a detailed scope of work and cost estimates and bringing that back to the board. Of course, we've got to get with the architectural engineers, see how far this money can go. But I think it can make a major impact at Harrison and making Harrison a better place to live as we head toward redevelopment. We've got a lot of people living there that we need to up our game over there, and I am really excited about this. Being a capital fund grant, of course, it's going to take.
Director, are you there?
Come back.
But it's an exciting opportunity, and there is a resolution regarding that grant in front of you tonight. In order to accept the grant, we have to have a modification to our agreement with HUD, and that approval we'll be asking for later in the resolutions. We did have a roof emergency at Fox Hill on December 23rd when that big storm came through. It literally ripped the roof off of Fox Hill. I'm really proud to say that within a week, the roofing material was reinstalled. One unit experienced water in their home, by the way, thanks to the weatherman for not having rain. But within a week, we had done all of our business with the insurance company. We had gotten 2 estimates. We got an insurance company's approval, given the contractor the go-ahead, and the staff just did an excellent job. not only the night of the emergency in triaging with the excellent job of the Hoboken Police and Fire Departments of the night of the storm, but then making sure this got done right away. I've really got to give kudos to our crew for making that happen. Excellent responses all around. And you do have a resolution tonight ratifying my declaration of an emergency that we did that very day when the storm came through. We are obtaining the signage to create that commemorative detonation of Cologne. It really is coming. We've had some problem getting the actual signs, but we think we've got it figured out. So we'll be talking to you soon about that and talking to the family. On security issues, we can continue to work closely with the residents and police department. Our yearly request for proposals for community service providers is with legal and should be out in January, by the end of January. So that's going to be our attracting of services to the Housing Authority and pushing us toward our comprehensive, if you will, services for the year of 2023. What we're going to do is use that as a base and then grow from there on other programs we can bring in. So we're looking forward to that process. We talked quite a bit about that at the Resident Services meeting this past month. We are beginning design on a defensible space concept in the rear areas of our property abutting the light rail, and we'll be with you with preliminary plans as soon as they're produced. We have been increasing our surveillance of video systems with our management, and we have increased the number of resident meetings that I am having with the residents. We held meetings at all sites in December. Our next meeting in Harrison, Andrew Jackson, is February 1st, and we do encourage residents, talk to your neighbors, have everyone come out, as many as possible, because we're dealing with the issues on each site here individually. Hoboken Housing Forward update. This is our redevelopment plan. Again, this is our step-by-step process, building that foundation for 2023 and 2024. We've been moving forward. The city has published, as I reported last month, their redevelopment plan for our sites. Their proposals were due today. So I expect that next week I will be talking to the city about their interview process, and they're tentatively looking to award a contract in February for a planner to come in and do our redevelopment plan. So that is in process, that is moving. That's one of our first very foundational steps of moving forward with the redevelopment of our properties. I know we sometimes are saying what's going on out there. This must be a step-by-step process to do this right. At the October board meeting, you approved a contract with a firm to provide us with a obsolescence study. They have done their groundwork and they're drafting that study now. We've got some very preliminary results, but we haven't got their draft yet. We'll be sharing that as soon as it's in our hands. That's another foundational step that must be done. We have published an RFP requesting engineering firms to produce a capital needs plan for a 10-year period. This plan will anticipate our changing capital needs and funding levels as we progress through redevelopment of HHA sites. We anticipate the contract award recommendation to you in February. We'll be opening responses to the RFP at the end of January. So these things are all moving at one time. In collaboration with technical assistance from enterprise partners, we're arranging for an initial meeting in first quarter of 2023 with HMFA to discuss the future allocation of tax credits. We are close to publishing an RFP for special legal counsel for future development in the first quarter of 2023. We're working on that RFP. It should be out very soon. We are working on a revision to our procurement policy that will address the methods of obtaining the services of a development team developer. You may see us talking to you in the next couple months about the possibility of going out for a pre-approved pool of developers. We could do that even before the redevelopment plan is done, and get a leg up on things as we work with the enterprise partners team. We're discussing the possibility of that with them and with our attorney team. So you may be seeing us come back to you with some more plans on that next month. This idea just came up and I think it's a good one, so we'll be working on it. We continue to meet with the enterprise partners, along with our attorney, HHA staff, and HUD, as represented by Ellis Wilson Henry. So they're with us every step of the way. They are watching us. They are making sure we're on time and on target. And I can say with great confidence that they're comfortable with where we are. The enterprise team and ourselves are working on our management needs and positioning into 2023 and beyond. Mr. Merchant and I have had some detailed discussions with their management consultants. They're developing a training schedule for us to kind of look into the future on what we need and where we need to go as we transition over to RAD Section 18. Lastly, on Hoboken Forward, again, we remain available for any forum that might be useful to expand community awareness. We had a great article in the Hoboken Borough website this month. If you haven't seen that, you might look that up. We had a great article with some interviews that were done with me before the holiday break. Great article. On policy and outreach. Okay, so I just wanted to say that that's the end of my report on Hoboken Housing Forward. So again, and lastly, I'll say I understand that from the outside sometimes, whether it's from commissioners or whether by the public, this thing takes some time. We're doing all the foundational steps, and once we have those in process, we're going to be taking off on this. But we need to make those steps first. And I think we're being very conscientious and timely in doing that. I continue to encourage on outreach for any resident to meet with us personally. We do many intakes during the course of the month. We are writing resident handbooks for all locations. Those should be out within the next 60 days. We've got a pretty good draft of them done just before the holidays. The proposed changes to our ACOP and drug abuse criminal activity policy, if you'll remember those. January 1st through HUD. Over the next week, we'll be distributing those new policies. They are now official. The ACOP policy that amended our waiting list procedure to have a Hoboken preference into that waiting list procedure, and our drug abuse and other criminal activity policy, which replaces the one strike policy, and I think we all agree gives us a little more teeth there. So as of January 1st, that's official. We're moving ahead with it. We continue to follow the most current CDC guidelines with COVID-19 issues. We have experienced some. So we've had some off and on staff absences and quarantines. Not as bad as it was during the round a couple of years ago, but there seems to be a mini infection coming through these days, as I'm sure most of you know. And we're dealing with those issues on a day-to-day with some staff shortages. Fox Hill Gardens, the renovation work is in process. The lighting work is complete. Brighting up our hallways and stairwells, plumbing, cabinet, and countertop work is commencing. And I'm glad to say that the paving work has been completed. For those of you that haven't seen it, go on over to Fox Hill, go through the loop there and our one parking lot that we had some flooding issues. We redid the slopes there, and I think it looks great. It's a great job. Housing for Hoboken did not meet this month. It was delayed due to my having to be out of town this past week. So we'll recommence later in the month on Housing for Hoboken. Our special capital projects, We'll be moving forward with improvements in Harrison Garden, as I noted above. The emergency generator work for Andrew Jackson South is in permitting, and we think won't be completed until the spring. I did write in my report that we're accepting bids for 4 new boilers. However, those bids were received and have a resolution in front of you tonight to approve that work. So we'll be talking about that later in the meeting. And we are administering those 2020 CDBG funds. Very little work to be done left on that. We've effectively done it. Management has been focused on our 3 initiatives. That 96 or better occupancy rate. We've got our vacancy report attached. In December, we had 3 total move-ins. It was a slow month, 9 move-outs, and performed 6 transfers. We now have 20 units ready to be leased or actively being leased right now. An attachment 2 is our vacancy report for Fox Hill, which had 2 move-ins, 1 move-out, no transfers. We did include in this month's report, Frank put together a 2022 summary. We averaged 11.5 move-ins a month in 2022, which was excellent. We averaged 5 move-outs and 5 transfers. We actually did 138 move-ins in 2022, which is huge. We usually have 50 or so a year, between 50 and 60. Our move-outs reflected that. We had 59 move-outs over the course of the year, or vacant apartments of some type. And we had 57 transfers. So we're really doing, our move-outs and transfers are keeping up with each other. That's a lot of transfers. On vacancies, I would like to ask Frank if there's anything else that you'd like to point out on our vacancies, Frank.
Nothing specific unless you guys have a question for me. There's nothing, pretty much you spelled it out the way it was. Luckily in December, even though we had 9 move-outs, we were able to maintain that almost 96, we were like 95 and a half. So even though we took a hit, we were able to get past it and maintain. So hopefully the next couple of months, the managers are really as much in sync as we've been. Like the director said, I think that we are in a stride right now. So the next couple of months should get us to where we've been aiming for.
Thank you, Frank, and I'll put you on the spot. I think you're predicting by April to reach our 98% goal, right?
Yes.
That means March, right, Director?
About that, but we think we can get there. So. What's that?
I said that means March, right, Director?
Yeah, that's right. That means March. And I'll tell you, if we get there, we will be among the top housing authorities in the country. That is my goal.
Nice.
The performance of the staff this year on getting us out of a lot of vacancies on our hands as a result of our elevator project has been astounding. Great job by both maintenance and management. Management continues to work on the PIC system scores. Many residents are coming in recertifying on a timely basis, and we're tackling that problem as we go along. We have also made significant progress in the reduction of tenant accounts receivables. I encourage residents with outstanding balances to make sure they contact their managers to forestall any legal actions. As we have said in prior meetings, we have talked to residents, we have called residents, we have called personally to their homes to say, come in and deal with us on your balance that you have. And there is a point coming up soon that we'll have to quit talking and file eviction actions against those that have not come to see us. So I'm being very clear on this. We're willing to work with anyone, we'll bend over backwards, but there are a certain number of people that have still just refused to talk to us about their balances. And as you know, we are a landlord, and the only option we have to push this forward is to file a court action. We don't want to go there, but we will if we have to with the very small number of people that we'll have left. Frank, anything you want to add on tenants' accounts receivables?
Yes.
Frank, you can say as you want. By one of those.
I can't hear you well, Frank, so
One second.
He's not speaking yet, no worries.
Answer question.
okay.
Frank, why don't you just
Does that
sit
mean it's
there?
back to me?
This way it's easier.
I have a question, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
So, Director, you said that we would be attending court on a small number of the folks who are not responding to the letters that we're sending out for repayment?
Correct. Correct.
When you say small.
Brian, do you have that number?
Yeah, so that's what
Small
I,
is small, what's
Right,
that
he's
number?
about to go through it now.
Yeah.
yeah, right, to your point, Rev, it's not a small number yet. It will be
Yeah,
a
yeah,
smaller
yeah,
number,
that's what I
yes.
thought, I didn't think it was a small number.
Compared to, yeah, I agree, I know where you're going, so, tell you what, I'll go through the figures. So, when I first introduced the concept in September, that we had about 700 families that were on this TAR under, over $500. Since then, we've entered into 97 repayment agreements, that now, out of those 97 repayment agreements, there's a balance there of 509,000 that came off of our outstanding rent, right? So that was a good third of what we had out there. But that number is actually greater than what it is because a lot of the folks that entered into repayments also made substantial payments. So that actually kind of reflects more like a $700,000 number. But in repayments right now, physically notes that we have which equal cash, we have 97 repayment agreements that total 509,000. The other really incredible news, and thank you to all the tenants who did it and participated, is that everybody that entered into a repayment agreement made a payment. They made a repayment payment and they made a rent payment. So we finally see that bump in the, in the cash flow. So the other thing that happened in the month of December, at the end of December, is that we were finally able to get the repayments into the system. Andrew, I know that you had requested some numbers, so this is kind of like, I hope this is what you were looking for. So out of the money that's left over on the table, 20 families are holding 306,000. So I'm gonna take those 20 families myself personally and reach out to them and work with them to get them to enter into repayments. The rest of the families that are going to be in total, we have 344 Rev, 344 families that are still outstanding, and the goal is we knock those first 20, that's 300,000, and then the rest of the families who are really low. And this is something that we can talk as a group. Maybe we can come to the point where some of these folks who are between 599, even if you don't come, we can make a repayment and send it to them and say, listen, just pay this. That's a discussion for the future, but that's an alternative that would allow us to put them into that repayment and then just start paying. I don't know if there's legal things that we would have to work out, or we can get to that point, but that's a thought that I had there. But I will work on the 20 families that should knock out the bigger amount, and then as requested by everybody, yes, we've done it by mail, we've done first, second, third notices, we've done phone calls, and we've gone door to door to every one of the families. So I asked the managers to...
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes,
Chairwoman, is it okay if I have a question?
yes.
The 344 people, families that we have, that haven't, all 344 have not contacted anybody?
Correct. They have not responded.
Contact with them at all?
We've attempted by mail, by door, by phone call, and nothing. No response.
I have a hard time understanding that.
Right.
And that's where a little frustration comes, where like, how do we just lost 344 people, that families that we can't get in contact with? Where are they? I agree, yeah.
Right, and out of those...
Knocked on their door?
Yep, and out of those 344, there's about 200 of those that are not recertifying either, which is what's tying into our PIC number. So they are like MIA. So now the last recourse we have is gonna be through the court, and we're gonna have to now get to the point where the final step is a certified letter that says we've tried to contact you in every other way and we weren't successful, and now here's the court date, and that's what we're gonna have to do for the final people who did not respond. And then hopefully at that point, even if they contact us, we'll enter into a repayment. So
Right.
that would be great. To your point, how can we?
Do you know?
We're losing you.
We're losing you.
When
We're
you
losing
knock
you.
on the door.
Andrew, I'm sorry, we're losing you. It's like you're going in and out, so the court reporter couldn't hear you. Could you repeat yourself?
What?
We were losing you, so the court reporter couldn't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
So do you have a try to knock on all these doors, like a date and time?
I have asked the managers to keep track of every time they try to make a phone call or knock on your door, so that we have that. Right.
Can you put that together and send that to me on the boot? Or send that to everybody?
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone wants to see it.
I would like to have a copy of that as well.
Sounds good.
So I would like it to be in this form if you can, if it's not too much work. But
Are we sending just a part?
person on staff that knocked on the door, and did we just not get any response, the date, the time, for all 344 people? I find it very, I'm not saying you're lying.
No, tell you
I
what.
find it very hard to believe that we knocked on 344 units and not one person.
I'm
So
sorry,
I-
I'm sorry, not one
Again-
person.
again-
No, he's turning, like, he's turning off.
Tell you what.
Andrew, again, we're losing you.
Andrew, I'll give you everything we have up to this point, and I'll do something even better. Why don't we say right now to these 344 families, we will create this thing and we'll do one final knocking. We can take a picture of us knocking on the
No,
door,
I
or
don't-
whatever it takes. But like, we have tried from every way to get in touch with these families. It blows my mind.
I just, excuse me, I'm sorry. I just want to say that, Frank, I have full confidence that the staff is doing what they're saying. I'm not here to knock anybody and say that anybody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I do understand Andrew's frustration because it is a lot of money, but I think as commissioners, we kind of also have to be reminded that our service here is not to do the day-to-day operations of the housing authority. That is your job. And I think we have to have confidence that you guys are doing it. So as far as making a list and giving of apartments or people, I'll be honest with you, I'm not completely comfortable with that being given to everyone. If there's a commissioner that has an issue and you'd like to discuss it, we absolutely could discuss it, offline with the director and Frank. And, but again, I think as long as we have some type of proof, it is documented in the files, when our managers are calling, when they're knocking, I think that should be sufficient. I don't think that anyone should have to go with a camera to take pictures.
Now, from the legal side of it, we are doing it in writing by mail. So we have that, and I think that to Andrew's point, it's more of a like, listen, we want to reach these folks.
Yeah.
It's not legally, are we doing the right thing or the wrong thing? So I want to reach these folks too.
Well, I think it's more of a. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's more of a case that we're trying to build. So our attorney Fitzpatrick Harold could.
Matt.
Or Howard.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, of course it's a case, may I? Of course it's a case we're trying to build, and we've been working hand in hand. We've been working hand in hand with our attorneys, and we have made significant progress. We started out with well over 700 families, and we have that. And the people that owe us the most, we've made significant progress. I think Frank said we're down to 20, and I apologize for saying small, but that was the number I was thinking, was that 20 that owe us the most. But yes, we're building that case. That's exactly what we've been doing with
So as long as you have
the attorneys.
form.
Send out the first notice, second notice. We are documenting that process very carefully, so when we go to court,
I'm sorry, can somebody, we're speaking over here,
and-
please?
Guys, please, if you're gonna have a conversation, please go out in the hallway. I'm sorry.
And, you know, I understand what Andrew's saying. It's just like just sheer on the base of the law of averages, we should have been able to contact at least a percentage of that 344. To have the whole 344.
we would agree.
Well, no, we did.
But
The
again,
number
we
started in
started out
March.
with over 700.
Right.
That's all we're gonna
Madam Chair?
I'm sorry, Erica?
Yes, so I think that, I don't think everybody heard that Frank is personally the most outstanding is from 20 families. And Frank said he's going to take ownership himself. He's going to personally try everything in his power to do that. And then there are other things that we can do to try to finish the rest. So I think that they are really trying to do their due diligence. They do have to do other things besides this on a daily basis. And we took it from over, I think it was over 700?
Over 700.
Over 700 to 344.
Correct.
So we are making progress.
We got it.
And-
Yep, I heard that
We
part.
did, and we must remember that we've just gotten out of over 2 years of pandemic situation where people were telling our residents they were never gonna have to pay this money, that they didn't have to pay attention to us, that the law would protect them, et cetera, and that just wasn't true. A lot of that advice was wrong, and folks still have that perception out there that they can dodge and weave. And we've had to come back out and essentially through this process, and what we're doing again tonight is re-educate folks. But, you know, we're doing it methodically, and I think people, as we move forward, they'll still have chances to come in and resolve this. But a lot of folks, I think, just didn't believe that this was real, that this was serious. A lot of folks did, more than half of the 700, but we've still got some folks out there that just don't believe us, and some are getting bad advice out there.
Absolutely.
Can I just have one
Again,
question?
we're hand in hand with the attorney.
I'm sorry, could we have Matt please speak? Sorry.
Sure, I just wanted to add quickly to Commissioner Impostato's question, which I think is a very valid concern, particularly the question about documenting this and whatever. And Frank and I have talked a number of times that before we file a single complaint, I'm going to ask of him and of the staff, you know, when did we try to contact these people? How did we try to contact these people? Dates, times, all of that. So we have talked about that. And I understand Commissioner Impastato, Reverend Forbes' concern about the number of people still outstanding. Part of that, I don't know how much of that is, you know, distrust, not answering the door, being at work. I don't know. But certainly we're going to have to dive into that before a single complaint is filed and make sure that each of these people we have reached out to. So I don't know if that addresses your concern, Commissioner Impastato. I know, or somewhat addresses your concern. I think I know where you're going with that, and yes, I am going to want it meticulously documented about each attempted contact, so that if we do end up in court, heaven forbid, I can say, you know, these are the steps that the Housing Authority took. Hopefully we're talking about a small handful of cases in that instance, but yes, we are going to need that information. And certainly that will be part of the case. That's the first thing the judge is going to say. Okay, well, just tell them they owed you money. Where's a copy of that letter? Where are your records saying you made a phone call on X date? So yes, we're certainly going to need that.
I also want to add, Frank.
That's all I'm looking for. That was all I was looking for, is that we have documentation of when our staff knocked on the door, so that we can show it to a judge, and it's very clear cut. That's it. Thank you.
And Frank,
Yes, I agree with you, Andrew. Same here, my friend. Just the documentation of when it's going down, that's all.
I know that when we complete our lease, there's a section for emergency contacts, so that if you can't get in touch with the individual, then you start going down the emergency contacts. Maybe that's a way, and obviously not giving confidential information about why you're calling. Just say, this is the Hoboken Housing Authority, we're trying to reach such and such. Can you please have them call us? Is that something that can also be done? Would that be?
It could.
Because
I
you're
mean,
not giving any
part of the issue
information.
there might be some of that information might not be up to date, because remember, a lot of those people also aren't recertifying. So maybe we don't have the proper contact information. So that would be one problem. I would also be very delicate about how you do that. I don't want to get anybody overly worried about some sort of safety situation by saying, you know, we really need to get in touch with so-and-so when we're really talking about collecting rent. So I would just be a little bit careful about how we proceed with that. It can be done. There's no reason why you can't do it. I would just proceed with caution.
I also wanted to make you guys aware, and this incident happened today. So as you guys know, we have been helping individuals with rental assistance through the county. And we had a resident come in and say, well, I did an application early December. They never got in touch with me. I haven't heard anything from them. So obviously we emailed them. When that happens, we email the county and say what's going on. The county had actually attempted to contact this person 3 times. And because they were unable to contact them, they closed their application and they denied them. They are willing to reopen the application for them. But I think this is something really important for the managers, that if you're sending them to us to complete applications for rental assistance, and for any reason they change their number, they have to notify you guys immediately so that you guys can let us know. Because what we do then is email the county and say, such and such person submitted an application, the number on there has changed, can you please update? Because the truth is, I don't even think that they're really sending letters. They're either emailing or they're calling them for information. And if they're not getting through to them, it's just going to be denied. So that was one of the incidents, and I'm pretty sure we're going to come across a lot more. And so rental assistance is still open through the county. We also need to educate our residents to understand that this is COVID money. So, of course, a lot of that, it has to be some way, somehow, related to COVID that they fell behind. So if they were sick and, you know, they couldn't pay their rent because they had to pay their medication, or, you know, there's a number of different situations that we work with the individual. But I think it's important that we also are telling tenants that this is not just, okay, it's rental assistance, somehow it has to be connected to COVID so that they can help you, so.
And if I could just add one more thing, I don't want to belabor the point, but to what the chair said before, if you do generate some sort of report, I would be a little bit sensitive to personal identifiers. I'm not saying obviously the board is entitled to some sort of report accountability, but I would be a little bit careful with personal identifiers, names, birth dates, things like that. Not that I don't trust any member of the board, but just so we aren't disclosing sensitive tenant information.
And if we can, while we're on the topic, thank you so much, because the checks keep coming in every day from the county. The checks keep coming in, 5,000, 10,000, 9,000, and it's a great help to the housing authority and to the families who are receiving it.
And we work very closely with them, so it's not as if they come in and they complete the application and we don't hear from them. We get in touch with them, and some of them do come to us with situations that it's hard for us to help them because what they're telling us is not matching what they're saying. But as you're talking to them and having a conversation with them, you're able to find a way to help them. And so we're having that issue, I want to say honestly, a lot more with the seniors, because a lot of them seem to forget, and they're like, oh no, I wasn't sick. Oh no, that didn't happen. No, I was fine. Or, you know, so we kind of have to dig in and have conversations and meet with them on several occasions before we can come up. Because you have to do a whole statement as to why this happens. So just give you guys a heads up. The behind the scenes that goes on.
Thank you.
Director?
Frank, just make yourself comfortable there for a minute. I was telling Frank to make himself comfortable in that chair for a minute.
Yes.
That's right. He's going to have a couple more. So I just want to add next that we did meet with the ACOP committee and Mrs. Kaduta occupancy policy. We are intending in the next couple of months to reopen our waiting list for 0 and 1 bedroom units. So we will be back to you, we believe, next month with a request for a board resolution to reopen our 0 and 1 bedroom waiting list numbers. our applications. So that will be coming up. So just know that that's out there, but it's not open yet.
And Director,
continue to work toward a project-based voucher. Go on. Was there a question?
Director, I was just going to say, and that is with the new parameters for a Hoboken preference, correct?
That is correct. And that's why it's significant that we got our final approval considered January 1st. And thank you, Councilman, for your hard work on that when we did that a few months back.
Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks. So having that new preference causes a couple wrinkles in how we do the applications in the lottery, and we're working that out with our attorneys now. Nothing huge, but we're working it out, and we expect to have that back to you soon. Our maintenance reports, our maintenance department continues to work well under its current leadership. We are currently accepting applications for additional part-time building maintenance workers. That's our cleaning, janitorial staff. Our holiday once again demonstrated that during special events, such as holidays, sometimes our reserve staffing gets low. We just need to put on a little more beef there. We are bidding out work that would provide a 4-month cycle of floor stripping and waxing. This would provide a leg up for our cleaning crews. You'll notice there was a comment made earlier about banging on a door. We do apologize for that, but we're going through on a one-time now of stripping and waxing all of our floors, which is great. That's tremendous. And what we want to do next is we're going to do that on a 4-month schedule. Come in, strip wax all of our floors every 4 months. That will accomplish a couple things. It will make sure that our floors look good, and it will also take some weight off of our maintenance staff. So we'll have that outside contractor come in. I like to do contracts like this because it's very clear cut on what that contractor's duties are, stripping and waxing floors. On the RFP, we are going to add a deep cleaning to the stairwells every 4 months as well. So you'll see that coming up over the next couple months. So that building cleanliness takes all of us. So over this holiday, as we often have, we found trees stuck in our trash chutes that were backing up our trash chutes, large trash bags and boxes forced into the chutes. Old toys jammed in the chutes. Then when a chute is clogged, residents leaving trash in the hallways rather than taking it to the dumpster, and or furniture just left in the stairwells. So we're going to continue to reach out to our residents that, when our guy comes through and cleans at 2 in the afternoon and somebody's throwing garbage out in the hallways in an unclosed bag at 4, it hurts the rest of the residents there. It's awful. When somebody's putting Christmas trees down the chute, it just doesn't work. So we need all of us to work on this. And we're going to continue to work in that direction. We did major maintenance plumbing projects by HHA staff in the last 30 days, a little bit slower over the holiday, but nonetheless our plumbing projects continue to go on and continue to be an important part of what we do. Maintenance does a great job on that. And we did have unit special projects by outside contractors in the last 30 days. Those are part of my attached reports. We had one of our experienced repairs leave us this month, and we are open to receiving applications for that position. I mentioned earlier, we're certainly looking for some building maintenance workers on cleaning, but we did have one of our good, solid repairs leave us. We tried to tackle him and not let him leave, but he found a job closer to his home, and he left on very good terms. So if we know somebody that is a skilled craftsman that can do drywall repairs, wall repairs, / plumbing, concrete repairs, we're more than happy to talk to them, send them our way. We've advertised these positions and are looking forward to getting somebody else good on our staff. We are frustrated, as everyone else, about the 310 Harrison elevator. We know it's a problem. It's been out since the fire. And as you all know, the fire department came in, did a great job, put out the fire, and wound up putting a lot of water down our elevator shaft. And in the end, we were having to do virtually a rebuilding of that elevator shaft. The problem comes with a replacement control panel for the car. It had to be manufactured from scratch. The contractor is expecting that part to be shipped on January 20th. So there is some light at the tunnel. You know, if it takes a week or whatever to get here and then installed, once they receive it, we're going to be putting it on a ship or an emergency shipping basis, get it here as soon as we can, get it installed as soon as we can. But there's just no opening up that elevator until that control panel gets here. So we're as frustrated as everyone else. The lobby level elevator door was vandalized. Apparently somebody got angry that the elevator wasn't coming and kicked in the lobby door. We've been with our video trying to identify who it is and haven't been able to identify the person yet. But we have authorized the installation of the new door. That will be done before the control panel is in, so we'll be ready as soon as that control panel comes in to open that elevator back up. We continue to encourage anyone who has any issues to contact their manager. We are helping some people as much as we can. If somebody needs something, if somebody's having a problem getting up or down, we have opened up clearly and are maintaining the walkway between the buildings up on the roof. We have successfully installed new lighting. That was something that was asked for up there. Those roof accesses are very well lit now. So we make progress there, but until we get that elevator fixed, we're just all going to have to deal with it. And we really appreciate our residents who are dealing with that day to day on those stairs. We are close to the installation of carbon monoxide detectors in all units, only a few remaining to be installed. The gate at 5th Street still just needs that panic bar. We're getting somebody out there to install that. Our snow removal equipment is ready to go. Let's hope we don't need it, but it's going to come sometime before the winter, right? Rather have that rain, right? Our boiler systems are up and running. We are going to be bidding our laundry room facility shortly. The roof walkway at Harrison Gardens I mentioned. Our annual elevator inspections with the cities taking place as we speak. Again, as you know, they come in once a year, make sure our elevators are in good shape. And then, as we talked about the roof earlier, in the early morning hours of January 10th, 2 days ago, we had a main water supply line at Monroe Gardens had a major leak. It happened just before midnight, of course, in the middle of the night, and the parking lot became a swimming pool, and there we were in the middle of the night dealing with that issue. Our maintenance supervisor, Sammy, was on site before 1 o'clock, and repairs were completed before noon that day. So yes, we had water out for about a 12-hour period at Monroe Gardens. We managed to keep the heat going on a very limited basis during that time. But in my estimation, what a tremendous job by maintenance, and particularly kudos to Sammy. Oh, Sammy's in the room over there since I'm not there. Is he there?
Yes,
he's here.
Sammy with you all?
yes.
Hey, just take a bow, Sammy. I got it. He stayed up all night. Here in North Carolina, and we were triaging, making things happen, and then back at 5 in the morning, and he just made it happen. And again, people talk about what we do. That's great service. We really care about our residents, so thank you, Sammy, for everyone that took part in that. Good job. Finance is working on the final billing for HMFA. That's a pretty big project along with management. Remember that was a $12 million grant, and HMFA is full of paperwork. So we're finishing out the closeout on that. They're working out the voucher budgets for this coming year, and they continue to work on contract management. I should note here that one of the recommendations by the enterprise group, and I agree, is that we should look at a separate contract management position as we go into the next year to 5 years, as we do our redevelopment and as we take on the new Harrison project, that we should probably bring out a position that deals specifically with contract management and take that off of the finance department. That would be a position that does actual on-site inspections, make sure the paperwork is right, making sure the Davis-Bacon stuff, the Section 3 stuff is done. So we are going to be looking at advertising that position soon. Daniel Perez will brief on resident services. Before Daniel gives his report, and still not representing.
Yeah, we're losing you, Director. Yes. We're losing you again.
What?
We're losing you.
Is Daniel in the room?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. Before he gets up, I just want to note that we did meet with Amy Goldman regarding starting a Girl Scout troop at the Housing Authority, and so we're going to be working on that. We need anywhere from 2 to 5 adults, 2 to 5 residents that want to work with us on starting a Girl Scout troop at the Housing Authority. And we'd love to see that happen. We've got some initiative and some rolling on some people that want to do it. So let's try to make that happen. Residents, if we know folks that will be interested, please contact Daniel. Having said that, Daniel, all yours.
Director, one second. Daniel, if you don't mind me, I just want to put something on everyone's radar. If most of you probably remember that over the last year, the City of Hoboken has been in and out of conversations with CarePoint, our hospital, and we're kind of at the end of that conversation, and it looks like we're entering into a settlement agreement with them. And in those conversations, we talked about how the hospital could continue to give back to the community. And the Housing Authority is one of the higher number of residents that use our hospital. And in those conversations, I got a verbal commitment from Dr. Mullock, who is the CEO of CarePoint in the City of Hoboken, to actually put an on-site clinic in the Housing Authority with our repositioning. Nice. So we talked about some of the amenities that we want to include in that repositioning, with the library, with potentially community rooms. I think having an on-site clinic for our residents would be an absolute amazing thing for us. So I just wanted to put that on the radar, and hopefully that'll come to fruition. So we'll be talking to them about that too, Director. Thank you.
Happy New Year to everyone. I think that's phenomenal news. I remember working with CarePoint over the years with the Lunch and Learn series at the Housing Authority, and also their many screening services and their mobile unit. Hopefully they'll be bringing back their mobile unit and providing those services that are so needed to our community. So thanks to the City of Hoboken for engaging CarePoint on that end. We've been working behind the scenes on many activities and programs for this year. I have some things just that I want to highlight real quick. The Hoboken Public Library, we've been working with them. They're an amazing partner, and they're trying to extend youth services to our Housing Authority. So beginning this month, they're starting their every fourth Friday of the month, they're going to start their movie night over at the Hoboken Housing Authority Community Room for 11 Harrison Street. And then beginning in February, March, they're going to be using every Friday. They're going to have Fun Fridays at the Housing Authority for our youth. So as we begin to talk to them, they're going to begin to expand services and more resources to our kids, which is exactly what we want for our families, which is in building community. And then I just wanted to highlight quickly, Amazing True Society continues to do amazing work. As I had a meeting with Greg, he says we're more than just punching and kicking. They're also going to have a CPR program beginning next week. and everyone is welcome to participate. Of course, we'll be able to provide more information on our social media and also our website. And this is an ongoing program for the entire year. So just wanted to highlight those things, and we'll continue to work behind the scenes on enhancing program services, support, and resources to our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm just about at the end of my report. I will say one thing I forgot to mention is that we did have a director's retreat with my staff before I left town this past week on my emergency. And we will be bringing the board our goals and objectives for 2023. I predict that we'll be bringing that to you and sharing that with you at the February board meeting. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. I just wanted to kind of also follow up. Erica and myself have been getting numerous emails from community partners who are interested in actually partnering with us for different events. And I think Eric and I have come to the same understanding that that's something that really should go through Danny and the director and Lourdes, who, you know, obviously run the resident services. So we kind of, from now on, what we're going to do, instead of doing the back and forth with emails, when they do reach out to us, we're just going to direct them to you guys directly and let them speak with you guys and let you guys handle it, because I think it's just getting more and more every month.
And then you're not servicing, Madam Chair. Then
Thank
you're not
you so much.
servicing them.
And we do have our system to do that. And one of the significant things we can tell people is certainly to reach out to us. Always feel free to give them my cell phone number if they need any information, and or Danny's number. And also, you know, we've got this RFP coming out, and we would like them to participate in that, even if they don't want money from us. That's going to be our main planning tool for 2023, and we can use that process to bring our community together. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Director, I have a few questions regarding residents. When you mentioned about the plaques for Kayella's Way, I actually was asked about the plaque for Miss Braxton, and I know that we said when we did the ceremony that there would be a plaque placed there. So I had a few family members asking when, if we have any idea. I kind of told them that it was in back order, we haven't received it, but that I would confirm with you guys.
Yeah, I've been expedited that recently. Does Lourdes know where that is?
I think what we're trying to do, what we're trying to do right now is with Sammy, we want to get a pillar, a stand, and then we want to put the plaque on the pillar. But I'm also waiting for the family members to give me a physical photo. They keep sending a text photo, and Stan can't use a text photo. They need a physical hard copy photo. So that's where I am, waiting for photos. If not, we'll just do a plaque without a photo. That's what we're waiting for.
I will reach out to the doctor.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. So that was one question. My next question is about the drug abuse and criminal activity policy. I know that as of January 1st now that has come into play. I know HUD had to approve it as well. Do you have any idea when that will be sent out to the residents?
We'll do that next week.
Okay.
Yes, we expect that to be sent out next week. And we will also be reviewing that at all of the meet and greets that I'm doing at each location over the next month. So there'll be two things. One, we'll be sending it out. Of course, it's going to go on the website too, but we'll also be reviewing it specifically at every meet and greet over the next month.
And my last question is regarding the security for the seniors. I know that we haven't heard much about that. I know we started a new company, and you know, are we receiving any feedback, and what type of feedback are we receiving?
Yeah, thank you. We have had some great experience with them and some not so great experience with them on with the new company. We have scheduled, I've instructed staff before I left town last week to set up a meeting with the head of that company for next week when I get back, and we're going to sit down and review all of their performance to date. One step I think Frank has done with the managers is we're getting daily reports now
from management on the time the person gets there and the time they're leaving. They're examining the cameras daily for the security guard services. So we're doing a spreadsheet day by day on what their information is, and we're going to be sharing that with the head of their company to see where we might need improvement and where we go from there. Frank, anything else to say?
Yes, in preparing for that, we actually met with them yesterday. Emil and I met with the company, and we told them everything. Unfortunately, we're finding the same issues that we had with the other company. So we are at the point, and we told them that we want to have this meeting with the director. We wanted to give them 1 full week. I said, this is, again, here we are. You have this whole week. You need to show me something, or else we're in the same exact boat as we were with the other company. Unreliable as far as coming in. I mean, I know that we have them here, and you know, it should not be our job when we hire somebody to do the pavement. Like, we can check it at the end, but we shouldn't have to be involved in that day to day. And it seems like these security companies, they're like, okay, we shouldn't have to check that who came in to what site at what time and when they left. And unfortunately, if we don't, we're not getting what we need. They did have, we were very strong with them yesterday, and they, as we expected, gave us what they should have said, which is we're going to try our hardest to
Danny,
speak.
can we close that door? I'm sorry, they're talking.
My main concern is we're spending a lot of money on something that, number one, we weren't prepared to start spending on, but it was something that was so needed, right? So we finally got a way to do it, then we want the service that comes with it. So we are frustrated still, but we are going to give them a very good opportunity this week, so that by the time you come here and we have the meeting with you, we will have all the metrics. We will have told them this is what you've been doing wrong, and this is what we will be able to show you if in that 1 week they made significant improvements. And I hope that they do. They seem willing to, so my hope is that we will see something there. If not, then we have to take the next step when we meet with them.
Yeah, the discussion Frank and I had was that they had basically 1 week to show us what they can produce. And we have a follow-up meeting on the 23rd.
Can we have a security subcommittee meeting scheduled as soon as possible? I thought last time we talked about this, that we were going to get some communication if the company wasn't working so great. Clearly that hasn't happened. So is there any way we can have a subcommittee meeting to go over these things, to kind of understand what the problems are and what we expect?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Of course.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, and Director, one more thing. I'm so sorry. I've had complaints about 311 Harrison hanging out. They're not hanging out in the main lobby. They're hanging out 5th, 6th floor. I think maintenance could probably tell you more about the garbage that you find on those floors and what's happening. I know the residents showed me videos of how they leave the hallway. So my question then leads, is anybody doing sweeps? Is the officers here, are you guys doing sweeps?
We absolutely are.
Okay.
We absolutely are.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you. That was it.
And if I could make a note of that,
I also think,
Sarge, if I could make a note of that, I was speaking to a resident today, and they said, what's going on? We see the police going through our hallways on my ring camera. I said, it's nothing that's happening, it's because we don't want something to happen, so thank you.
Yeah.
They do see you on the ring
They
camera.
are. Our arrest numbers are up also in the buildings where our uniformed officers are walking around. It's happening. The proof's in the pudding. We have it, so it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Director.
and I can't wait for that's some other good news on this grant. We are going to have cameras on every floor.
It's going to be
I can't wait. Thank you.
Better for you guys.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we can move now on to the resolutions.
Yeah.
Resolution number 2023-0101, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to amend the meeting minutes for November 10th regular board meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Director, roll call.
A. Forbes?
Yes.
A. Pistano?
Yes.
A. Lewitt?
Yes.
B. Reyes,
Yes.
Amber Russo,
Aye.
Gay Sanford,
No.
E. Seitzman.
Yes.
Resolution number 2023-0102, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to approve the meeting minutes for December 8th, 2022 regular board meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Director, roll call.
A. Forbes,
Yes.
A. Impastato,
Yeah.
A. Lewitt,
Yes.
B. Reyes,
Yes.
Amber Russo,
Aye.
Gay Sanford,
No.
E. Seitzman.
Yes.
Resolution number 2023-0103, resolution authorizing the payment of the monthly list of bills for the Hoboken Housing Authority.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns?
Yeah, just one question. Saw another expense of, for United Ford, 2008 Ford Ranger truck repairs, 3826. I know this is like an ongoing thing since I joined the board now. I don't know, what was that, 3 years? 2 years? But have we come up with like a solution to these very expensive old fleet that we have to not keep spending all this money on repairs? And I thought Councilman Russo had something that the city does, and we're gonna look into that. I'm not.
We did look into that.
We explored that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did look into that, and it doesn't make sense for us to lease. There's a couple reasons for that. One is leasing comes out of our operating budget directly, where a purchase of a vehicle can come out of our capital fund funding. So leasing really is a wash for us, and it's a little negative than a wash on our level of things. So we looked into it carefully, and leasing just doesn't work for us. So we believe that the best approach is for us to periodically replace our vehicles and keep up with a newer vehicle fleet, so we're not having these repairs. But if you remember, we've come to you with a couple of them, and they've been denied. But we have some conversations lately where we're getting to the point that a couple of these older vehicles need to be replaced, and we're starting to look at prices. We looked back at the state contract prices recently, and they've increased dramatically over the past couple of years, particularly over the last year. So I think we're kind of retooling what we're looking at and how we might buy some vehicles. So that's where we are on that. Leasing doesn't work for us, so we've got to keep our the fleet that we have running.
Yeah, and like to Mr. Recco's point, the prices have astronomically increased. Like,
Is that just me?
I'm sorry, Andrew, I couldn't hear you.
I can't hear anything. Is it just me?
It's you. It's you, Andrew. We were hearing Emma.
Oh, okay, I'll.
Someone you want to start over?
Sorry.
Yeah, so we bought, for example, like a small Ford Transit van a couple of years ago for $27,000. And now the quotes I'm getting is close to $40,000. This is a similar vehicle. It's slightly smaller, yep, and it's old and it's dated, but it serves the same needs.
So we're talking to maintenance about what type of vehicle might be sufficient for their needs, and retooling and see what the prices are out there. And that's where we are right now.
Thank you, Director.
Does it make sense to, some of that money, the money that we had for the 3.5 million, is there a way we can get a vehicle into that services that property? So that I know the money had to be spent on that property. Is there a way we can kind of so that it's dedicated just for that property?
I don't think that's appropriate because it's focused just on Harrison, but I think our goal would be to see if this money from Harrison would reduce our other capital fund expenditure that we wouldn't now have to spend on Harrison. And that may work. So we'll take a look at that, Commissioner, if you follow me. All right?
Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions, concerns?
Director, who does our repairs now on our vehicles?
Evan?
So we go to United Ford on our Ford vehicles, and otherwise we go to Jack's in Jersey City.
Okay. I just thinking about it, maybe we might want to have a conversation with Director Gonzalez and maybe doing like an interlocal agreement where they can maintenance our vehicles, the city of Hoboken may be able to do the maintenance on our vehicles.
That'd be awesome.
That would be great.
I'm all for it.
Why don't we have that conversation?
Yes, that's why we have these conversations. Thank you.
Sounds good to me.
Beautiful.
Good.
Director, roll call?
I'm sorry. Any Forbes?
Yes.
A. Pistado?
Yes.
A. Lewis?
Yes.
A. Reyes?
Yes.
M. Russo?
Aye.
A. Sanford?
No.
E. Seitzman?
Yes.
Resolution number 2023-0104, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to ratify the December 24, 2022 award of an emergency contact for roof repairs at 311 13th Street.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns? Director, call the vote.
A. Forbes?
Yes.
A. Pistado?
Yes.
A. Lewis?
Yes.
B. Reyes?
Yes.
M. Russo?
Aye.
A. Sanford?
No.
E. Seitzman?
Yes.
Resolution number 2023-0105, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for Andrew Jackson Gardens boiler replacement.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns? Director, call the vote.
A. Forbes?
Yes.
A. Pistado?
Yes.
A. Lewis?
Yes.
B. Reyes?
Yes.
M. Russo?
Aye.
A. Sanford?
No.
E. Seitzman?
Yes.
Resolution number 2023-0106, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to authorize the Executive Director to execute an amendment to the HUD Annual Contributions Contract to receive additional Capital Fund Program assistance.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns? Director, call the vote.
A. Forbes?
Yes.
A. Pistado?
Yes.
A. Lewis?
Yes.
B. Reyes?
Yes.
M. Russo?
Aye.
A. Sanford?
No.
E. Seitzman?
Yes.
Resolution number 2023-0107, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to enter into closed session to discuss pending or anticipated litigation.
Motion.
Madam Chair, if I could?
Sure.
It may be that you want to hold this on the agenda until after new business or anything else. If you want to make it the last item, you can. Director, do you anticipate that there would be any action taken as a result of this closed session?
We anticipate no action as a result of the closed session.
Thank you, Director. It may be, Madam Chair, that you want to take care of the rest of the business, because if you do enter into closed session, the public would have to be excused from the room. If there's no action to be taken, you would be able to tell the members of the public that the only thing the board will do when it comes out of closed session would be to adjourn the meeting. That way, members of the public could make their own decision about whether or not they hang on.
So that was.
Any new business?
Is there any new business? No? Okay.
I apologize.
It's okay. So.
Is it the last resolution?
Yes, it is. It's the last resolution, and I just asked if there's any new business prior to going into closed session.
Oh, gotcha.
So it doesn't seem like there's any new business, correct?
No.
Okay, so, is there a motion and a second?
I'll second it.
So, Erica, okay,
Go into closed session.
so we are going to,
Can you tell us what the reason is, or what the subject matter is, so we know whether or not we want to vote on going in?
Yeah, we're gonna go into that now. I don't think we're gonna vote on it tonight.
there will be no action taken tonight, it's just,
So,
it's something,
sorry.
yes, sure, I'm gonna let the lawyer actually respond to that, Andrew.
And I apologize for
No,
interrupting,
no.
Madam Chair. The purpose, Commissioner Impastato, is to discuss pending or anticipated litigation.
Andrew, I think what he's saying is it's sensitive enough that he really can't get into any more detail, but you'll learn about it in the closed session.
Correct. I believe the executive director wants to brief the board on a matter.
Okay, so can we have a vote? Can you call the vote, Director? Or we did?
No, we gotta vote.
Yes. Impastato?
Mr. Impastato?
He's frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Frozen.
Oh, there you go.
We can't hear you.
Me.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, said yes.
Yes. A. Lewis?
Yes.
B. Reyes?
Yes.
And Russo?
Aye.
Gay Sanford?
Yes.
E. Sykes?
Yes.
Okay, so we are going into closed session again for the public. For the public, once we come back from closed session, we will be adjourning. There will be no actions taken when we return. Is that
Come
correct?
offline, but to record.
Just cut the
Recording stopped.
So we'll have a transcript? I will cut the recording. Okay.
I made you laugh.